Where are all the Disney grooming folk? Where are the people who are outraged at this? Where's all the Disney grooming, Disney grooming, Disney grooming? You have a man who has been accused by multiple women of grooming them, of sexually assaulting them, of being a predator, like multiple women. Here's like the most striking example you could ask for, and he is front and center of a major Disney franchise coming out right now. There's going to be press tours, there's already posters, there's clearly trailers that are all over the place, and this is, yeah, just the reality in which they live. I know it seems like a really, really long time ago, from a faraway, mythical, and magical time, but if you don't remember it, I'd say just about a year ago, a lot of people were claiming that Disney was grooming children, that they were a grooming organization involved in the abuse of children, the I can't even speak right now, the manipulation of children, that their parents were abusing them, that they were taking them to, say, Disney events, and then they were being groomed, and that Disney was a groomer and a grooming operation, that they were involved in the mass sexual abuse of children, right? Coercing children into a sexual relationship for the purposes of abusing them. That's what grooming is. And so you might have seen every right-winger from Jack Posobiec to Tim Pool to Steven Crowder, all of them were saying the same thing. Disney is grooming. Disney's are groomers. Disney is grooming Disney, all that kind of shit. Now, what was that actually based on? It was the fact that Disney was being a little more inclusive in some of their content, not all of it, but some of their TV shows and or some of their representation, or some of their public-facing statements were a little more pro-LGBTQ+. And because they were a little more pro-LGBTQ+, and because right-wingers and conservatives associate all things that are LGBTQ+, with sexuality, they in turn in their own brains started crafting this world in which Disney is manipulating and grooming children. The whole thing is absurd because like you can't actually indoctrinate people into being gay through exposure to gay shit, right? Like if you showed them the greatest gay porn in the world, that's not going to turn a straight man gay. It might make a questioning man a little more questiony. It might make a bisexual man a little more interested, or perhaps a pansexual man be like, yeah, into it. But you're not going to be able to take a straight man, show him the most beautiful, beautiful men in the world, and suddenly they in turn become gay. You can't do that. We know that to be true because otherwise gay people wouldn't really exist, because we're already always exposed to sexuality, but heterosexual sexuality, straight sexuality. It's in all the ads, the TVs, the music videos, you name it. You're most likely exposed to a lot of sexuality, but it's with straight people. But they thought that somehow Disney, simply because there would have been a cartoon that had a character that uses they them pronouns, or there may have been a trans story, or there may have been a open lesbian relationship, or a kiss. Do you remember the kiss in Buzz Lightyear? Oh my God, there was two parents who were in a loving consensual relationship and they actually loved each other. That's grooming. That's pedophilia. How dare they? Disney. This got as far as having Ron DeSantis, the fucking fascistic right-wing, politician who tried to run for president, the guy who wears the high heels and has the bobblehead and is just always weird and is covered in pudding. That dude, he actually tried to take on Disney as part of the culture wars that he was fighting, effectively trying to do whatever he could, take down this massive corporation, because it basically became the right versus Disney as an entity, because Disney was promoting grooming. The whole thing was obviously shocking, disgusting, and gross, and really unfortunate because of the backlash that was happening. All of this is taking place, and while they call it culture wars, there's a lot of kids who may have, for the first time in their lives, felt a little bit safer because they saw characters that reflected who they were and saw that they were completely normal. And as much as I hate Disney, I think it's an evil corporation, that's actually a good thing. It's a good thing if kids see other forms of representation, if it's normalized, because it is 100% normal to be gay. It's totally normal to be a lesbian. It's totally normal to be trans. It's totally normal to be non-binary or asexual. That's normal. So it'd be a completely beautiful thing if there was a kid who felt really scared because every day when they go to school, they know they're a little different than all the other children, but then they watch one of their favorite cartoons and they saw that there were characters that were like them, that were also just completely normal, and that there wasn't any reason for the other children to be afraid of that particular character because they were gay. And so that was the right not too long ago. Now, there's a new movie coming out. I don't know if you've heard of it. Tron Ares. That's right, Tron Ares, another sequel in the Tron movie series, and one in which, of course, there's going to be obviously a lot of hype. There's going to be a lot of discussion. There's some cool things about the film that I'm not going to be able to deny. The fact that Nine Inch Nails does the soundtrack, just like Daft Punk did the soundtrack for the last Tron film. That was probably the best part about the last Tron movie, was the soundtrack was actually pretty incredible because it was made by Daft Punk. Just like I think the soundtrack to the new Tron movie is probably going to be pretty incredible because it's made by Nine Inch Nails, two unbelievably incredible bands making the soundtrack to these movies. That part's kind of cool, but it also stars and is featuring and is very prominently showcasing a alleged grooming pedophile, Jared Leto. And silence. Total silence. Just none of the same people who are going off 24/7 about Disney grooming, Disney are groomers, Disney is fucking grooming children, all this kind of shit. Well, you've now got a guy who's the front-facing spectacle of this entire franchise. He's all over the promotional materials. He's all over the trailers. He's all over the fucking posters that you see on the walls. He's going to be doing interviews, all this kind of stuff. Over 9 women have accused him of sexual inappropriate behavior, in some cases sexual assault, and in some cases grooming them when they were minors. That very same Jared Leto. This is from the official Disney Channel, by the way.
Already in pursuit.
I'm looking for something. Something I do not understand.
Don't get me wrong, it looks cool. It looks real cool. It looks badass, in fact. The fact that, you know, Tron has escaped the digital reality into the real world, and all of a sudden you are seeing these AI monsters suddenly take over Earth as we know it. A neat concept. It hasn't been done in the other films. Normally they were about entering a virtual reality. You know, oh, look, Jeff Bridges is there, and then they're going to play Tron and battle and all that kind of stuff. Well, neat. But again, the fact that the entire thing centers around one Jared Leto, and no one's just really talking about it.
Ready? Because there's no going back.
I'm excited about the Nine Inch Nails. Yeah, absolutely. The soundtrack is probably going to fucking slap. You know, I can't deny that. But just so we're clear, the cult of Leto. He has acted in everything from American Psycho to the House of Gucci. Now Jared Leto stands accused of inappropriacy by 9 women. 6 years ago this summer, Jared Leto's followers descended on Mars Island, a private resort off the coast of Croatia. For 3 days, fans, and many of them young women, some of them paying more than $6,499 to be there, meditated, chanted, and lounged barefoot in the captains alongside of Leto, who, in addition to starring in American Psycho, Fight Club, House of Gucci, and Blade Runner 2049, is the frontman for 30 Seconds to Mars. The band called it Spiritual Retreat. The French magazine L'Officiel called it something else. The Cult of Jared Leto. If you haven't seen the cult shit, yeah, it's pretty wild. Basically, like a lot of mostly white people pay somewhere close to $7,000 to go to this retreat where they get to hang out with their favorite movie star slash like music star, and they're all 30 Seconds to Mars fans, and they just spend the entire retreat singing 30 Seconds to Mars songs, and he interacts with them, and he kind of walks around looking like, you know, some kind of Jesus-like figure filled with devotion, and it's just so weird. It's got to be one of the weirdest kind of fucking, you know, cult experiences. Very, very expensive, by the way. It's not something that, like, you know, the average everyday person can afford. But this isn't even, like, you know, new news. It's been circling within Hollywood for a very long time. 9 women accuse Jared Leto of sexual appropriating the new report. The women recount alleged behavior, including flirting with teenagers, as predatory, terrifying, and unacceptable. Multiple women have accused Jared Leto of inappropriate behavior, with some calling the 53-year-old actor and musician's behavior predatory, terrifying, and unacceptable. In a new report by Airmail on Saturday, 9 women have come forward to accuse Leto of engaging in inappropriate behavior over the years, including flirting with teenagers. Speaking to the outlet, one woman said back in 2006, when she was 16 years old, Leto approached her outside of a cafe in LA. According to the woman, Leto was seated with the actor Ashley Olsen, who was then 19, and grabbed her arm. I looked down and it was Jared Leto, the woman told Airmail, adding, "We had a quick conversation and he got my number." She went on to say that Leto called her home a few days later, recalling, "I don't know if he was on drugs or what. It was the weirdest, grossest voice, but for me, it's Jared, you know." She said that Leto said he was hosting a party at his house that evening and that he invited her. The woman declined, telling the outlet, "I didn't even have a driver's license." Nevertheless, she said Leto kept calling her, always at 1, 2, or 3 a.m., and the conversation turned sexual. He'd ask things like, "Have you ever had a boyfriend? Have you ever sucked a dick?" she told Airmail. Another woman, the model, Laura LaRue, recounted that a similar experience happened, saying that when she was 16 years old in 2008, she was at an event in a private residence in Beverly Hills where Leto was watching her so intensely. He asked how old I was. I said, "I'm 16. How old are you?" LaRue told Airmail. Leto, who was 36 at the time, proceeded to ask for her number. The two began an email correspondence, which eventually led to her visiting Leto's home in April 2009, the outlet reports. "I remember him teasing me the whole time I was there," LaRue said, adding, "He was flirting with me. He'd lean in close, then pull away, like it was a game." In a statement to Airmail, representative of Leto said, "Their communications contained nothing sexual or inappropriate." Ms. LaRue later applied to work as Mr. Leto's personal assistant, further underscoring the absence of anything inappropriate in any of their interactions, which, the most typical and common defense, right? It's like, if you felt it was inappropriate, then why in the world would you want to work for the guy if you knew that he was a predatory groomer pedophile? Huh? That's on you. Underscores it. Airmail reports LaRue denying that she even applied to be a personal assistant role with Leto. During a separate visit, LaRue said Leto walked out of her room completely naked when she was 17 years old. He just walked out, dick out, like it was normal. I thought maybe this is just what adult men do, she told Airmail. Another woman who spoke with the outlet said that she and Leto began a texting relationship while she was still underage. According to her, Leto would ask inappropriate questions during visits to the house, such as, "Do any of the little boys you hang out with fuck you?" The woman added that once when she was 18, Leto suddenly pulled his penis out and started masturbating. She told the outlet, "Then he walked over, grabbed my hand, and put it on him. He leaned in and said, 'I want you to spit on it.'" Another woman, Ali Tellez of the Los Angeles-based DJ and music producer, said last month on Instagram and reposted a 2012 Facebook status in which she said, "You're not really in LA until Jared Leto tries to force himself on you backstage in a kilt and a snow hat," the Airmail reported. In her Instagram stories, which Airmail reviewed, she said, "I was assaulted and traumatized by this creep when I was 17. He knew my age and didn't care. What he did was predatory, terrifying, and unacceptable." A representative of Leto has expressly denied the various women's accusations reported by Airmail, including which representatives said were demonstrably false. Leto himself has yet to comment on the allegations, but his representatives are denying it. So all this, multiple accusations, all this disgusting stuff happening obviously in the background. And I gotta say, the standard, or at least the double standard here, is galling. Because, I mean, if you want to look towards what took place with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, for example, when Amber Heard lost partially the second Johnny Depp trial, I think he was suing her for $100 million. He ended up winning $11 million in that lawsuit, which then got reduced based on just, the state and the law to something like $10.68 million. She actually had successfully sued his lawyer and won. And won for his lawyer making defamatory statements about him sexually abusing her. So she had won $2 million. No one really talks about that part, but that's another part that's kind of lost to the story. Johnny Depp had also tried to sue her previously in the, not sue her, but sue a newspaper previously in the UK for defamation, of which the standard is much fucking higher. Right? You're suddenly not going to have to prove that there was malicious intent. You're not going to have to prove that, that it was done by this newspaper. You just have to prove that it was falsifiable and a lie, and they printed a falsifiable lie. That's all he had to do. So he's suing her in the UK. When he's suing her in the UK, he ends up losing that lawsuit because a judge reviews all the evidence and found that he was guilty of, I think, 12 or 11 of the 13 to 14 accusations of abuse that she had made publicly in her statements and her letter originally published in America, and that the newspaper was running upon it. And so the newspaper publishing a headline that he is an abuser was not defamation. It was not a defamatory statement. A judge ruled that, having reviewed the video evidence of all the violence that was enacted upon her, the bruising, the pictures, the not just the photo evidence, but the video evidence, the texting of him saying that he was going to burn her and kill her and all that other stuff. The judge ruled that, yes, he is in fact guilty of these multiple counts of abuse, and that this in fact was not defamation. The newspaper did not defame, just to let you all know that. And that in addition to that, he had to pay the legal expenses of the son in the UK. And so fast forward to the trial that takes place in America. That is a jury trial. And while he did not outright win the amount that he was asking for, he won enough that everyone claimed that Johnny Depp, in fact, was the winner of the totality of the entire thing. Now, two things could be true, right? They could have been mutually abusing each other. Mutual abuse is not the same as reciprocal abuse. So I want to add, those are also very important when it comes to this particular case, and that it doesn't excuse the abuse of either party, regardless if they were both abusing each other or she was reciprocal abusing him as a result of herself being initially abused, all that kind of stuff. None of this matters because she has not acted in or made a single project since. She was dropped from all of the marketing material of the Aquaman sequel, of which she was one of the leads. She was one of the 2 stars. The studio dropped her from everything. They're like, oh, we're not touching this. No, she's not in the marketing material. She's not in anything. We're not. No. Yeah. Hopefully this doesn't ruin the brand of Aquaman. But we'll just remove her in totality from any idea that she's really in this movie, and then get out there and watch it. If you watch the new trailer for Tron, the one that just dropped, like, you tell me if they're trying to take a stance or a step away
Since time began,
from Jared Leto.
man has gazed at the stars and he has wondered, am I alone? So much talk of AI and big tech today. Virtual worlds, what are they going to look like? When will we get there? Well, folks, we're not going there. They are coming here. I would like you to meet Ares, the ultimate soldier. He's biblically strong, lightning fast, supremely intelligent. And if he is struck down on the battlefield, I will simply make you another.
You think you're in control of this? You're not.
Yeah, they created the ultimate pedophile.
What are you?
I'm looking for something.
Teenagers?
Something I do not understand.
Oh, the age of consent. That's it.
Hang on!
A malfunctioning program who wants to live. Why is that? It's just a feeling. Fascinating.
I'm pretty sure they're not taking a step away, Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it would be kind of hard to just edit out the central protagonist of the film in its totality. They kind of did it successfully for the first trailer. You barely see him in that because they're kind of teasing that they're going to build to that he's this super villain, AI, a destructive force that's going to enter society. So they're the teaser. They kind of keep him a little bit on the edge. But yeah, for the trailer, the full trailer that just came out, He's all over that shit. So yeah, I mean, really, it does speak to the fact that, like, where are all the Disney grooming folk? Where are the people who are fucking outraged at this? Where's all the Disney grooming, Disney grooming, Disney grooming? You have a man who has been accused by multiple women of grooming them, of sexually assaulting them, of being a predator, like multiple women. Here's like the most striking example you could ask for, and he is front and center of a major Disney franchise coming out right now. There's going to be press tours, there's already posters, there's clearly trailers that are all over the place, and this is, yeah, just the reality in which they live. Replace him with the ghost of Christopher Plummer. I mean, they could do that. It would make sense, right? It's AI at the end of the day. Yeah. It's because they care about fake grooming, not real grooming. They also care about targeting queer people. They don't care about straight groomers. They don't care about heterosexual groomers. They don't care about actual predators. They don't care about people who actually abuse children. If they did, they would spend way more time trying to protect people by bringing attention to the reality that the majority of people who do abuse children are people in close proximity to those children, usually family members, usually close friends, usually people who work at churches, for example, where the children may be unsupervised for periods of time. This is the reality, and the majority of the offenders happen to be straight, cis, heterosexual men. But they don't talk about that. They talk about how if you have they, them pronouns in your cartoon character, that's grooming. That's the same thing, you know? So... Oh, I strongly disagree. I think Ezra Miller, they were terrible in the new Flash. I thought the new Flash was an abomination. I thought it was almost hilarious in how bad it was, honestly. Come on, the reverse baby put into the microwave. How can you not watch that movie and laugh? It was utter and complete shit. I recommend YMS's take on the whole thing, but just one person's opinion, all right? That's just my opinion on the whole thing.
Don't let this happen to you. Go to serfscoffee.com to order the only end-to-end owned indigenous coffee company that delivers blood-free, conflict-free, and cruelty-free beans right to your door. 0% of people who drink serfscoffee.com have exploded spontaneously. By ordering right now, you get 10% off plus free shipping, and it's the best way to enjoy delicious coffee while not exploding. That's serfscoffee.com, serfscoffee.com.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. This video wouldn't be at all possible without the financial support of all the people whose names you see on the screen right now. And if you want to unlock secret bonus episodes, content that we can't post anywhere else, or get the videos early before anyone else gets to see them, please go on to patreon.com/theserfs. For as little as $1, you can help support this channel and help make more videos like this possible. Our executive producers are Anna Loves Riley, Adrian McCarthy, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Garrett Sandoval, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Richard Boehm, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demel, Tigwick, Trav, and Words Greenwood. And also, it wouldn't be possible without all the names you see on the screen right now. Again, if you want to help produce this content, it's only made possible through the funding of our patrons. Head on down to patreon.com/theserfs. That's patreon.com/theserfs.